My billionaire mother-in-law forced me to sleep in a shed, so I took her entire family and left. You don't invite a man to your private estate just to lock him in a freezing storage shed, unless you're trying to break him. But when my billionaire mother-in-law tried to put me in my place, she accidentally handed me the keys to dismantle her entire empire of fear. My wife and I tied the knot last spring. Her mother bought a massive vineyard in Napa and invited the whole family for a mandatory reunion week. I had never visited the compound, but I assumed we were welcome. We arrived on Friday, dragged our luggage through the marble foyer, and poured wine. Everything seemed incredibly lavish and perfectly arranged. Then my wife grabbed my hand. Let's unpack upstairs. Her mother stepped in front of the staircase, holding up a single rusted key. She pointed out the window toward a dilapidated stone barn. Your quarters are out there, she told me. I chuckled, assuming it was a dry joke. Her eyes stayed dead. In my family, outsiders do not sleep under the main roof until they earn their keep. I blinked. We've been married a year. Bloodline only, she snapped. My wife flinched. Mom, he's my husband. Irrelevant, she hissed. I stared out at the crumbling barn. Heat climbed my neck and my vision physically blurred. I have severe asthma, and that ancient structure was surrounded by thick dust, black mold, and damp earth. I asked if there was a spare room in the basement. No, her mother said. If you value your place in this family, you will take the shed. I kept my voice dead level. A marriage is a package deal. You don't exile half of it. Her jaw tightened. Then get off my property. My wife shrank back, staring at her shoes. I looked at her. Are you coming? Please, she whispered. Just endure it. Don't trigger her. A sickening knot twisted in my stomach, but I wasn't going to be degraded. I grabbed my duffel bag. I'll be at the resort in town. Stay if you need to. I walked right out the front door, drove down the mountain, and checked into a proper 5-star suite. The next morning, I texted my wife to see if we were still grabbing breakfast together. She called immediately, her voice shaking. Her mother was demanding a formal apology for my disrespectful exit. I'll apologize for leaving abruptly, I said, but she has to drop this psychotic barn rule. She hung up to negotiate. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. She refused. Mom says you have to come back, sleep in the shed for the next 6 days, and beg for forgiveness in front of my brothers. Otherwise, you're dead to us. My blood boiled. So she humiliates me, and I have to crawl back on my knees. Silence on the line. I could hear her mother shouting orders in the background. Then, my wife's older brother texted me. Mom is furious. Please just swallow your pride before she ruins this week and makes our lives absolute hell. My wife texted right after. I'm stuck in the middle of this nightmare. Please just do it. That's when the real bombshell dropped. I realized this wasn't about a bed. This was a calculated obedience test. I refused to play. I'm not sleeping in a shed, I texted back. And I'm done apologizing for basic self-respect. I demanded my wife and her 2 brothers meet me at a diner in town. They arrived looking like hostages, constantly scanning the parking lot. If Mom tracks our location, it's over, her brother muttered. I need the truth, I said. Did you know she was going to banish me to the yard? My wife shook her head. No, I thought we were guests. I looked at the brothers. Does she always pull this dictator routine? One brother rubbed his neck. She feeds on control. The other whispered, if anyone steps out of line, she starves the whole family out. I realized their entire existence was governed by terror. So you guys just bow down forever. They both looked away. We don't have a choice. I turned to my wife. Is this our future? Cowering every holiday. She swallowed hard. I don't know how to stop her. That was the exact second I decided to shatter the matriarchy. I pulled out my credit card, booked a massive luxury penthouse down by the coast for the entire week, and slid my phone across the table. I'm leaving for the ocean in an hour. If you want a break, I've got enough beds for all of you. They stared at the screen like it was a loaded gun. She will completely disown us, her brother panicked. Let her, I said. You deserve a life where you aren't terrified of your own mother. My wife asked, what if she locks us out of the compound forever? Then she loses her punching bags, I replied. The table fell dead silent. Finally, the older brother clenched his jaw. She has a massage appointment at 2. We pack fast. My wife let out a shaky breath. Okay, let's run. 90 minutes later, I idled my SUV behind the estate gates. The service door burst open. My wife and her brother sprinted across the gravel, hurling suitcases into my trunk. They dove into the back seat, locking the doors with trembling hands. I slammed the gas and peeled out onto the highway. We hadn't even cleared the valley before my wife's phone erupted. Her mother's face flashed on the screen, calling relentlessly. Now, my wife is stuck between us because I refused the barn.